the first Sunday of Advent in the year of our Lord 2022. But about that day and hour no one knows, neither the angels of heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. For as the days of Noah were, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing until the flood came and swept them all away. So too will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then two will be in the field. One will be taken and one will be left. Two women will be grinding meal together. One will be taken and one will be left. Keep awake, therefore, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But understand this. If the owner of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour. Matthew 24, verses 36 through 44. Wake up. I remember my first two-wheeler. I waited a long time for it. 14 gut-wrenching, nail-biting, hair-pulling years I waited for it. But there it stood, cockily, handsomely, one fine snowbound Christmas morning, leaning on its kickstand, its front wheel turned against its frame in profile, as if to say, just look at me. I am one fine road machine. I could not resist to caress its flaring silver handlebars, to run my hand along the smooth leather-covered seat. I knew I could not take it out of the house, not with all that snow on the ground, so I sang to the bike instead. Oh, my love song for my newfound gift for adventure and daring do along the cobbled streets of Wilkinsburg and the broad boulevards of Pittsburgh's East End. Just wait, I whispered to it. Just wait, you'll see. We will take this town by storm, come the first winter melt, and we will race the wind along Streak Street. So I sang as the red polished paint of the frame glistened in the sparkle of the flashing lights on our Christmas tree. My joy in that moment was ever so slightly muted because Ricky, my closest sibling in age and the only play partner I valued more highly than a brand new bicycle, did not receive the same gift. The ancient law of primogeniture reigned in our house that year, so it seemed, and I, as the oldest child, got the bike my parents could afford for one, but not two. I felt as though some invisible hand had snatched me up, but that same hand had left Ricky standing by the tree with its icicles and tinsel brushing his hair. I felt somehow guilty because I knew that Ricky wanted a bike as much as I, and I could not fathom that my age should favor me over him. But alas, Ricky, suppressing his laughter in that silent dawn, rejoiced to see the bike so tall and so ready for speed. He did not pout nor complain, but said it quickly before I could even think, "You're gonna let me ride it too, right?" After all, he and I had kept each other company through the long hours of the night until the first glimmer came through the bedroom window of morning's first light. I asked him, and then he asked me as we fought against sleep in the deep purple night, "You awake?" When at last day had broken, I heard Ricky whisper into my ear, "Wake up." He knew, and so did I, that joy never comes too late, if it comes at all. We did not snatch our robes, nor did we don our socks. We leapt straight out of bed and tiptoed past Mom and Dad's bedroom door and down the stairs. We peeped inside the living room, still, quiet, and smelling of cinnamon and nutmeg. Boxes wrapped in foil and gaily colored ribbon and toys boxed and unspoiled sat about the room as though piled there with the greatest care to display their rich possibilities for delight in raptured play. The sleepless night in which we occasionally drifted off to dream what might be, what could be, what would be. That night of fitful, dopey yawn and eye-rubbing calm proved worth it all. After all, Jesus knows what it means to bring a gift beyond compare into a world like this, a world like ours. When we ask our neighbors to stay awake, we do so out of the need to remain alert to the violence and brutality of an unsafe earth. We do not expect that redemption may be at hand. We simply hope to walk in vigilance against the curse of darkness in other men's hearts. But Jesus wants to show us so much more than standing at tiptoe and on our guard to ward off calamity. Jesus comes into the world not only once, but twice. Once as an innocent, untried babe, and once again as an innocent but upright man. So why now do some among us refuse to come into a condition of wokeness? Why do they even insist by decree and law that we should not wake them up to the horrors of a world divided up and parceled out to the rich and the poor be damned? Why do they wish to sleep while young men are shot and killed, while young girls are raped and forced to bear their rapist child, while gun-toting madmen shoot up churches and synagogues, grocery stores, university bus trips, and the local Walmart? Why does it seem so many cannot see nor hear what happens right before them in the full glare of day? These sleepwalkers. Wake up! I want to scream. Can't you see the rising tide, the whelming flood in its first appearing? Why have we not built an ark for the safekeeping of some small remnant of God's holy creation? Jesus warns us against the lassitude of Noah's neighbors going and coming in their routine way, the whole while taking for granted the daily bread they consumed without ever thanking or rejoicing in the Lord who first provided it for them in the first place. But what do you make of Jesus saying that the Son of Man will come like a thief in the night? I pray Jesus will steal something from us, steal something from all of us, each and every one of us. I hope when Jesus comes like a thief in the night that we will discover that all the guns have vanished, out of sight, out of hand. I pray that the Son of Man will have robbed us of our sense of right to possess instruments of death that rob others of their right to life. I pray that the Lord will steal our selfishness, our surliness, and our stupidity away. I pray we will awake to discover how this nightmare we can break. Let the Lord steal away the vice, but leave the virtues by the tree so evergreen, bristling with its own inward heat against the chill of new fallen snow. Wake up. Listen. Christmas comes less than 30 days from now, full of promise and a new covenant for play. We might waste our time to lament all the troubles of this world, but maybe the antidote to all this suffering, to catastrophe and tragedy, lies in our determination to hope for the best. Hope for the best. To think a new reality into being. To believe that even the impossible is pregnant with possibility, whate'er betide. In the year I had to ride my brand new bike, I shared it with my brother. And we knew that love bound us together in our common joy. Roddy never thrilled me as much as when I saw the look on Ricky's face. The sweat pouring from his brow, his eyes twinkling, and his teeth shining as the smile broke across his face. All year long, we exulted in the electric transport of rolling down hills, our hands at our sides, the wind wafting through our hair and whistling in our ears. But then came Christmas Eve once more, as in the second coming. Just as we had the year before, we jauntily took to our beds, accustomed our eyes to the dark, and picked up our old familiar refrain. Are you awake? Yes, I'm awake. Are you awake? Childhood logic. Neither of us could have predicted what might happen at the break of dawn. But just as surely as day follows night, we knew that something bright, something glorious, something extraordinary would come to put cheer and light in our hearts. We stepped with eager anticipation toward the room, holding a tree adorned with colored bulbs, delicate ornaments, and a silver star on top. Ricky became so giddy, I thought he might pop, for there between the tree and the front window stood a two-wheeled Cadillac with a garish blue bow on its handlebars. The ribbon that hung from the grip read to Ricky, after waiting all year long, from Santa Claus. Ricky and I, holding hands, jumped up and down with unconstrained enthusiasm until we had jolted a wooden lamp from an end table to crash upon the floor. We covered our mouths and hurried to set it right again before our parents would awaken and notice what we had done. Too late for that, because standing in the hallway, they looked on us in secret to see what we might do when Ricky discovered his bicycle gleaming red like the sun in the first rise of dawn. Beatifically, they smiled on us, and Daddy spoke first, saying, "What do you think about that? That fat man done left you a new bike." Ricky and I had long ago passed the age of believing in Santa Claus, but we acted out our childhood faith just the same. Just the same. Not much has changed since those early days of youth. How old am I now? 74. And I still believe. But I believe in God. And that God's name, God's nature, God's very being is love. And in that love and through that love and by that love, the whole blessed world continues to spin, to cartwheel and somersault, blissfully, ignoring all the risk of falling and shattering like old bones. If my recollection holds true, we had uncommonly fair weather for December that year. On that Christmas morning, I took out my bike and Ricky followed with his, spanking brand new. We cruised around the neighborhood as cool as could be until a blistering December wind bit bit us on the ears. We retreated to the house and stood the bikes together in the basement. Our promissory notes on the coming of spring and the rising of sap in the bark of sugar maples, sycamore trees, and 2 brown boys. I feel Christmas coming on. Do you think it possible we will all receive the very same gift? A gift that comes unwrapped, unribboned, and unbowed? Are you awake? Are you woke? No? Then wake up. I say wake up. When Jesus comes, let's take him outside. Why, you ask? Well, to play, of course. To play. Oh, the rapture. What else could it be? Amen.